So welcome to Neutral Ball. This is gonna be my football channel where I'm just gonna talk about football and my opinions and my predictions and everything there is. I'm gonna cover the Premier League just about because I watch it every weekend. I'm gonna cover some other teams in La Liga, some other teams in Bundesliga, League One, and Serie A, just the top ones from that league. But I'm pretty much I can cover every team in the Premier League. That's why I decided to make this video because it's gonna be my 2018-2019 prediction of the Premier League. So I think that we know who are the relegation contenders. We have Cardiff City, Huddersfield, Watford, Brighton. You know, those kind of teams are always going to battle it out for survival. 20th place is going to go to Huddersfield. And I think so because last season they just got lucky. I think they just got lucky. I know that they have a good manager and that they're balanced in the formation and the way they play, but I think they were punching above their line, above their weight. And I don't think that's going to happen this season. I think last season they were lucky to not get relegated, and I think this season they're gonna go down. Even though they have a young promising defender like Congolo, like that was the best transfer they did. They already had him like 6 months ago. Now they just made it permanent, and I don't think that with a team like that fighting for survival, that kind of move is gonna work for them. Moving on to 19th place, I think Cardiff City. Very similar to Huddersfield. I think they got a little bit lucky going into the Premier League. I don't think they were the best team in the Premiership. I think there are some areas they needed to strengthen if they wanted to survive, and I think that, and I'm pretty sure that the market business they did with buying the players they did, it's not gonna be enough for them to survive. And I don't think they're gonna finish bottom because Huddersfield has that, but I think Cardiff City is gonna 19th place. Moving on to 18th place, I'm gonna go with Watford. It was either in between Watford or Brighton because I just don't see any of both of them. I think they're going to struggle. It's going to be a hard season. I think they're going to interchange those spots because it's just, I don't think they're good enough. Watford, with an aging Troy Deeney, I don't see goals coming up from them. I don't see any of those players scoring except Deulofeu. I think Deulofeu is a fantastic player. You know, he's fast, he's strong, he can dribble. But I just don't think it's enough. And I think with an aging center forward and who they rely on a lot, I just don't think there's going to get you goals in the Premier League. That's sort of similar to Brighton because they have Glenn Murray playing up top. And it's just like, that guy is so old, like 34. He could be, like, he's way too old for the pace of the Premier League. So I think that Brighton and Watford are both going to struggle for the goals. I think Brighton, because of their manager, they're a little more stabilized. They're a little more balanced when they play. And I think they will survive. So I have Watford in 18th place, and I have Brighton in 17th place. 16th place, I have to go on with Bournemouth. They bought Jefferson Lerma. It was the record breaker signing, and he is a center defensive midfielder. I don't think that's where they needed the most help. I think him and Lewis Cook are definitely going to start in the middle of the play, and I think they're going to have a good midfield. I just don't see them having too much attacking prowess. I think that the forwards with Callum Wilson, I don't think it's going to be enough. So I think they're going to struggle, but I think they just might just clinch it at the end because of that defensive. Because they are a good center back. They have a good defense, like Ake. He's a good defender. I think they'll do just about enough to survive. We're gonna move into Newcastle. So Newcastle, I think they're gonna survive again. It's not gonna be they're not going to do as good as they did last season, even though they strengthened that striker area where they needed to strengthen. I think they got Gale went on to, there was a swap deal, and he went down to the Premiership again, and they got Salomon Rondon. And Salomon Rondon, he's just going to score. Like, regardless of what team he plays for, he's going to score a few goals this season. And I think that's what Newcastle needs. They also got that midfielder Key for free, and I think that's a very good addition to the middle. I just think they're going to struggle a little bit. And Rafa Benitez, he's a great manager, but I think if he leaves, I think this Newcastle, this is why I have this Newcastle going so far low, because I think they're going to struggle this season. 14th, I have Burnley. I think they didn't have any signing. They had signings, but no names that you could recognize, and they let go a lot of their players. I think that with the aging players they have up top, and playing in the Europa League and trying to survive the Premier League, I think it's gonna be too much for them. Even though they have a good manager, I think this is gonna be the down spiral season for them. I think they're gonna drop points at the beginning of the season, and I think they're gonna play catch up game for the rest of the season. So I think they're gonna be 14th. This is why I'm so low. 13th place, I have Southampton. I think they're a good team. I think their transfer market, their market was a little bit. It was a little bit of a gamble with Elyounoussi. He can play, but you just don't know what you're gonna get out of him. They also got Guido Carrillo. They got rid of him because he couldn't score. It just really it depends. And I think Southampton, they got a little bit unlucky last season of surviving. I think with Gabbiadini who can score, and if Elyounoussi has a good season or just a good season, I think they're gonna do just about enough to get into a comfortable 13th place. 12th place, I have Fulham, one of the promoted teams. They spent over 100 million in this transfer market, and I think at 12th place with a young team is promising. Maybe next season we can see them push for a higher place, but I think for this season they can be at 12 with Sadie, with Shirley. I think they're gonna be good. I think they're just not used to playing in the Premier League. This is why I have them in 12th place. On up to 11, we have Wolves. I have Wolves just a little bit, just one place above Fulham. I think Wolves is a good team. I mean, you have Neves, Ruben Neves he's a gem, and he committed to the club for like a long term. So I see the club going into the right direction. They also got the signing of João Moutinho and Rui Patricio, which are all Portuguese, but hey, João Moutinho, watched him at Monaco, and he controlled that midfield. And at Rui Patricio, he's an experienced goalkeeper, and I think he will be a great signing. So that's why I have him at 11th place. 9th place, I have Leicester City. Obviously, they got rid of Mahrez, which was their best player. It really was. He was a class above everyone. I think Jamie Vardy is now their best player, and he is so good when he plays. Like this past game, he just loves scoring against the top 6 sides of the Premier League, and that's something to admire from him. He works hard. He came in like a bull. He's always gonna be like that, and his age it's not an issue yet, but it's gonna be an issue soon. With Iheanacho up top, I think it's gonna be good. And then the new signing of James Maddison, the new number 10 from Leicester City, he's a very, very good player. I saw him playing against Manchester United. He just controlled the tempo. He's young. He's promising. He's gonna be a good player, but I think he's gonna need a season to adapt a little bit better to the Premier League. And I think next season they're gonna push a little forward. Leicester City has a young team, and they got some new signings from Pereira, the right back Danny Ward, and Johnny Evans. So I think they're just making that team younger so that they can push forward maybe next season or in 2 seasons. 9th place, I have Crystal Palace. I think Crystal Palace are gonna be good. Clearly we know what happened last season. They couldn't score a goal in like 5 games, I think. And when they did, they beat Chelsea 2-1. And I think it all comes down, this prediction all came down from Saha staying. If Saha stays, I think that team is good. They brought Max Meyer. He had offers from all around Europe, all the biggest clubs, but he decided to go to Crystal Palace. I think they'll be good enough to play. I mean, I'm just saying they got really unlucky last season when they didn't score, and when they didn't even score, and they lost all those 5 games. But apart from that, I think they dropped too many points those 5 games, but now it's not gonna happen this season. So this season, if they don't drop those points in the beginning, they're gonna be just about in the middle of the table where I haven't predicted. 8th place, which I have West Ham. This is because of Pellegrini. Obviously, he's a great manager. He obviously coached Man City. We all know that. He has a good team with Arnautovic. He can score, and he's going to score. Wilshere. They also got Wilshere, and I think if he's gonna play in the middle, I think that's gonna make. I think Wilshere is good. I just think he's not consistent enough to be in a top 6 side. So I think a move to West Ham will be good. If him and Lanzini and Arnautovic have a good season, they'll be good. They have Kouyaté behind them. No, they'll absolutely be a good side. So that's why I have them 8th. At 7th, I have Everton. There's a lot of excitement about this Everton team. They strengthened the areas that they needed to strengthen, which was the defense. They got Jerry Mina, they got Lucas Digne, and they got Andre Gomez, all from Barcelona. Andre Gomez, I don't know what to expect of him. I don't expect too much. I don't even think he's going to get in the starting 11. I think he's just going to rotate in and out of the team. They have a good goalkeeper with Pickford, obviously, and Cech Tosun. I don't think he's going to be a double-digit goal scorer in the Premier League, but I think goals are going to come from Richarlison. I don't expect too much of Theo Walcott, but I think they're just gonna do about enough, Everton, to do good. Six, I have Chelsea at six. And the reason why I have him so low is just because I think there was always some negativity kind of thing with Kante. And I think him leaving, I don't think the team is gonna. Sarri he's a philosopher kind of guy, and I just don't think he's gonna stick in the first season. At least during this first season, I think that going from a five at the back to a four at the back is gonna be a drastic change. And I think David Luiz is not. We've all talked about it. He's not a center back of two people. When he has a partnership with someone, he's just a liability all the time. He's not comfortable in the ball. He's kind of reckless, and I think Marcos Alonso also doesn't know how to play left back. They don't have proper right back either. So I think for that reason I have him at sixth place. I think that the midfield is one of the best midfields they have. They have Kovacic, Kante, and Jorginho. But I think they're gonna need a season to adapt to that, or at least two, so they can get performing. But I think Eden Hazard is gonna have a good season again because he is one of the greatest players of the Premier League and the world. So I have him at sixth place. Fifth place I have Man United. Yeah, I know it's kind of low, but I just think that Mourinho's negativity is just gonna, this season is just gonna show. Like, he doesn't get the best out of Pogba, he doesn't get the best out of Alexis, he doesn't get the best out of Lukaku, he doesn't get the best out of anyone. And I think that Man United would be a lot better with just letting him go. I think they're gonna get too many negative results with him, and if they let him go, or it's just gonna be kind of shaky, and they're gonna drop some points. I think that Man United are really good going forward. They have good names like Alexis Sanchez, Rashford, Lukaku, but it's a defense. They don't have a good center back. They have Eric Bailey, and he is good. He is the most consistent defender but he is just injured all the time, and that's not what a top 6 team needs. That's not what Manchester United needs. They need a solid center back that's never gonna get injured. So because of that, and because of the left back and right back situation, I know Luke Shaw is probably going to feature in the team like a lot this season because they just don't have anyone else, because Ashley Young is way too old and Antonio Valencia is way too old. So if they throw in Darmian at the right back, I just don't think he's good enough for a defender in the top 6. And I think they're going to get exposed. Maybe not against the smaller teams of the Premier League, but when they go against City, when they go against Chelsea or Arsenal, I think that back line is going to get exposed. In 4th place, now I have Tottenham. I think that we all know they didn't buy any players in the transfer window, and they didn't let go of too many players or any players whatsoever. And I think that instead of the team didn't get better, but we have to take into consideration the new stadium they have. And I think that new stadium is gonna, the best out of the players is gonna be a new morale. It's just gonna push the players forward. It's gonna make the atmosphere better. I think they're gonna play better. They've been playing, or the fans say that they've been playing away for the past year, the past 2 years, but now they get a home stadium. I think it's an exciting team. They have a good core, and they're young, so I think they can manage to get a Champions League spot this season. I think they'll do enough this season, only this season. If next season they don't sign anyone, I think they will absolutely not be in the top 4, but for this season I think they'll be fine. When you have a player like Harry Kane, he's just gonna score goals and he's gonna get you points. So I think they're gonna do just about enough to get into a Champions League spot. 3rd place now. This is kind of a bold statement, but I think Arsenal's gonna finish 3rd. I think they've always been a good team, and Wenger has just been there for too long. I think that with Unai Emery coming in and fixing the team, I think they'll just get results because they play good soccer. They play good football. And Unai Emery is going to get the best out of them. They're going to play possession-style football, and they're going to attack with Aubameyang and Lacazette, Ozil. This is going to be a good side, and they're going to be exciting to go forward. I think that's why I chose them to finish 3rd. They've always been good going forward, but they've always lacked that defense solidity. And I think with adding Papadopoulos and Bernard Leno, I think that's going to be just about enough to make them better. Also, they added a young center mid that's gonna be energetic, and it's gonna be Torreira, and he is a fielder. He is good enough to just do just about everything on the field, and I think that he's gonna be an exciting promise player. Also, they strengthened with the purchase of Lichtsteiner, and even though he's old, he's a quick fix just because Bellerin needs the coaching, and I think that's just why they bought him. I don't think that it's not a long-term thing. We all know it's not long-term, but it's just it's just gonna be good enough for this season. So I haven't finished him as third and returning to the Champions League football. My prediction, I think Man City are going to finish second. I think this season, teams are just going to be more wary of them more than any other team. And I think they're going to know how they like to play. They're going to know how to play. They're going to play attacking football. And last season, we saw Sterling scoring injury time goals across multiple matches. And I just don't think it's going to happen this time. This time, teams are going to defend against them. They're going to be cautious about them. They're going to be up at the champions. They're just not going to win as much as they did last season. And Liverpool are not going to lose as much as they did last season. So that's why I have Liverpool as first place. There's another thing about Man City. There's a little weakness they have, and I think it's the center midfielders. Fernandinho, and he is good, trust me, but he's old. And they don't have a good replacement for him. So if he's injured, they're going to play Gundogan, and Gundogan is inconsistent again, and he's always injured. So if they're both injured at the same time, I don't know who they're going to play in the middle. Is it going to be Phil Foden, or are we going to see... I just don't think they have enough to cope with that injury. I think they're going to be good with when they have them, but if there's an injury, and when there is, because there will be, because they play so many games, we're going to see a slump. And that's when I think Liverpool are going to go forward and get some points and win the league. Liverpool were close. They play attacking football. We all like to play the football they play. We had additions of Fabinho and Naby Keita and Alisson Becker. I think that's going to do enough to push them to the title. I think that the top three was a little sluggish, was getting a little tired by the end of the season. So when they have Mane, Salah, and Firmino, now they have a good replacement. They have Shaqiri up in there, and they have Solanke. Solanke's getting better. Sturridge looks really good from the preseason. I know it's just preseason, and you can't get carried away, but he still looks like a good forward, and he's gonna offer some rest to the forwards in the middle. They have Henderson, Keita. They can switch out with Milner. Milner's a good player. Wijnaldum is good enough to play. I think that's why they have. I think the defense is a little bit shaky. The left back is a little. It's an area where it's a little shaky. The right back, it seems like it's unlocked with Alexander-Arnold. And I think that the center back with Van Dijk, he's just too good. And Alisson Becker is gonna save some points for them, and the middle is gonna win some more midfield battles, and they're gonna possess more. And I think that's what they're gonna push them to the Premier League title. I will also be predicting how the other top teams finish in their respective leagues. So in the top 5 leagues, I'll do that video later. But just for now, this is just a prediction. I'll also make another video talking about the transfer business that all of these teams had, and I was gonna rate them and see how they do. If you want more of me, if you want to see more of me, just like and comment, subscribe.